All right, everybody, welcome back for an episode of Radio Cthulhu. We're sorry that it's been so long since there's been an episode. A bunch of stuff happened that kept, personally kept me busy. We did an episode with our friend Tanner who does King and Jallo, and it was just the digital resolution and everything. It's all these technical issues. It was like impossible to like do it, and we weren't able to release it. So that I got sick, all this stuff. So sorry about that. That's out of the way. We are now doing a Halloween episode today, and we're going to jump in pretty much right away. And we're here back with my good friend Mac. Mac, how's it going?
It's going good.
Excellent. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
His name is Jorge Campos. He goes by George, and he is an accountant. Um, he recently got into a very bad motorcycle accident, and he is basically home ridden. He hurt his leg very badly. He almost lost it, and, and he's getting a lot of anxiety just even about like going outside
Right,
and
and that
traveling
makes
and
a lot of
stuff.
sense.
The memory in
So he has like some
his head.
trauma.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. And does he have any friends members that come over to visit him much?
Yeah, he probably even has that happening more often than he would before because of what happened.
Right. Well, tonight, uh, you are
Like for him,
sitting.
it's easier to have his friends over than to go like, hey, I'll meet you somewhere.
Right, that makes sense. So while you're sitting in your home, uh, you sort of think about the fact that you have always thought that your house was strange. The realtor named a much lower price than you could have ever possibly asked for, but there's always an odd feeling about the house, kind of strange in it. And let me ask you, Jorge, do you have any friends meeting you at the house tonight?
Yeah, I probably have like a friend coming over and we're gonna watch a movie or something.
Okay, so as you're sitting there waiting for your friend, how are you spending your time?
Cleaning up the house as best I can. He's on crutches right now, so it's kind of a bit tedious.
Right, right. So after a few minutes of kind of picking things up and looking around, you get a knock at the door.
And so
So and
Jorge hears it and he goes, yeah, just 1 minute.
so when you open it, you see this man. He looks like he's in his 40s. He has jet black hair. He's got a kind of like almost like chiseled face. Like it has a lot of lines in it. Like this guy's seen a lot of stuff, and these kind of piercing eyes. And he immediately looks, into your eyes, and he says, I'm very sorry to bother you, sir. I, uh well, you see, this is difficult to explain, but I am an architect, and well, I built your house.
Well, hello, sir. It's nice to meet you. What can I do for you? Is there something wrong with the house?
No, not at all. In fact, I think it's the finest home that I ever designed. That's why I'm here tonight. You see, I please, would you indulge me and allow me to enter the house? It's been so long, and I'd like to see it.
Um, I mean, sure, I guess. I was expecting someone, but you're welcome to take a look around.
Thank you. I will only take a moment. And he starts to just walk toward the door, almost before you, like are able to like open it for him. And he starts to enter into the house. And as he enters past you, do you do anything? Are you particularly suspicious of him, or you're like, he seems fine.
No, I'm not particularly suspicious. I'm wondering what is going on, but I do ask him to remove his shoes before he starts walking around.
So he looks over, he says, "Yes, of course." And he takes his shoes off and puts them down near the front door. And when he
So,
stands, he starts to look around the room. And you notice that he's kind of moving toward the corners of everything, and he's looking at the interior of the place. And you can see that there's like an admiring look on his face. And you know that because you've only been here like a year and a half from what you told me before the game. You haven't changed. I mean, you wouldn't have even had the money to, but you haven't changed anything about the layout of the interior of the house. And it looks like he's very happy with that. He's smiling at everything that you got going on, basically. I'm very glad that you've kept it as I designed it.
yeah, I kind of liked it as it was. I didn't really feel like changing anything.
Hmm.
May I ask what you're looking for?
I'm looking for many things. You see, my architecture is very important to me. I always put so much of myself into my work. This has some perhaps been a detriment at times, but I believe that it is my strength. And well, I place little symbols all throughout everywhere that I design as a way to show personal importance only from me. No one else would really understand them. Just as an example, observe. And he points to over one of the doorways. It's the one that you see that leads into the bathroom. And there's a very, very small, like a couple of like maybe like five or six creases that are in the door frame at the top. And you never noticed it before. You would have just thought it was part of the like a normal part of the frame. But when you observe closer, you can see like a little symbol there. And he says, "This symbol is very important to me. Ancient cultures believed that it could ward off things that would hurt you."
Oh yeah, I always wondered what that was there for. Um, but why include that, for especially you said it's one of your touches. Why would you put that in a house that you're not going to live in?
I've always put so much of myself into my work. I have always attempted to be uncompromising. They called me an idiot. Then they called me crazy. Then they started to burn my buildings down. All but this one. Mind you, I don't think it was my buildings they hated. It was themselves. They hated what the buildings reflected back at them. And like as he's saying this, he's kind of like almost like looking, off into the distance. It's almost like you're not there, like he's talking to himself.
Are you doing all right, buddy? You been drinking tonight or something?
He looks at you, he just suddenly like darts, his eyes over to you and gives you like this cold glance and he says, "I don't drink and I'm doing just fine." And then he continues walking around the house and looking at everything. And then he suddenly just stops as he's looking into your like bedroom area, like down the hall. And he turns over to you and he says, "How do you like the sunken living room?" And what he means by that, because I forgot to point it out, is that in the center of the living room, there's a sunken square area where there is a coffee table.
I like it a lot. I think it was a unique design choice. It adds a nice aesthetic to the room, kind of makes it when you're there, you feel like you're in the center.
Good. Yes. See, I design my buildings for practicality. I don't design them to look at. I design them to live in. It looks like you're actually living here.
So what about practicality inspired your choice on the exterior design?
Suddenly, like right after you say that, you hear this weird noise coming from the kitchen.
So I'll go take a look. I'll be like, oh, that might be my friend. Like I said, someone was supposed to come over.
So you check the front door, and when you look outside, there's nobody there. You see some trick or treaters going by, but that's about it. And then when you close the door, you hear the noise again, and this time you're sure it's coming from the kitchen. You can roll listen if you want to hear like a little bit better, or tell me what else you want to do, and I'll tell you what you'd have to roll for.
I'll try listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, I failed.
So it's like you really can't tell what it is. It's just a weird noise, but it's definitely coming from your kitchen. And as you're looking over at your kitchen, the dude who's standing there is just still staring at you.
So as I'm heading towards the kitchen, I kind of go by him. I go, did you happen to hear something over here?
No, what do you mean?
Oh, I thought I heard noise or someone moving around in the kitchen.
Maybe you should check it out.
That's what I'm doing.
So,
And George is getting a
yeah.
little impatient with him, like wondering like why is this guy here? Like what's he, what's he trying to do?
So, as you enter the kitchen, you hear like a dripping sound, and you look over and you see that the sink is dripping water, like a slow drop. But you're sure that's not what you heard. Would you like to check anything out specifically?
So I'm gonna go turn the sink, like make sure that it's off, and then I'll check the windows and see if anything was like maybe tapping on the window like a bird or something. And then I'll go look into the fridge and see if anything fell over.
So you tighten the faucet lever or whatever the hell you call it, and that's completely tight. There's no more dripping. You look out the window, and there doesn't appear to be anything out there. It's dark, but you can see well enough. The house has lights outside. And then when you open the fridge, suddenly a giant tentacle just leaps out at you and tries to grab at you. Dodge or fight back.
I'm gonna try to dodge.
Go ahead and roll dodge. Unfortunately,
That's a
that is,
fail.
yeah, that's a fail. So the tentacle comes out and just wraps around you. And mind you, your dodge was basically an instinct because you didn't even have a moment to think about what was happening right now. And as you're looking now, you can see that the food, the chicken that you had been eating earlier, rotisserie chicken, has transformed into a tentacled creature that still looks kind of chicken-esque. And it is slowly pulling you into the fridge. And right now, you honestly can't even contextualize what is happening to you. Go ahead and give me a sanity roll.
Okay, I got a 22.
Excellent. So you still lose
So I
three
know that's a
san
pass.
you still lose three sanity points because it's just that crazy what you just saw. So you're at 57, but you didn't lose as much as you could have. So you're freaked out, but you're able to control yourself. But this tentacle is now trying to pull you into the fridge. What are you going to do about that?
What would I have to roll to try to get out of its grasp?
You can roll strength if you want to just kind of get away from it, able to sort of slither out of it. You can try to look for something to use as a weapon, or you could roll idea to try to figure out something. Those are your basic options.
Can I try to grab like a knife or something that's on the counter?
Yes. So you look over on the counter and roll spot hidden.
Yeah, 23. That's a pass.
So you immediately see this big kitchen knife. So at this point, what matters is, can you reach it? Go ahead and roll dex.
Got 32. That's a pass.
That is absolutely a pass. That's a hard pass. You grab that thing and you just start to cut at this. You stab it over and over and over and over again, and it lets go of you. And this disgusting black kind of blood comes out of it. Lets go of you. You fly back. You hit the ground, and the fridge door just shuts as the knife hits the ground, kind of clattering. Are you right? That strange man says as he walks up and kind of picks you up off the ground.
I don't know if I'm right, man. Something just came out of the fridge. Go, take a look for yourself.
He opens the fridge and you can see that it's just the chicken again. There's nothing in there. And he looks back at you and says, "Are you all right?" And closes the fridge.
Yeah, I'm all right now, but I don't know, man. Something came out of the fridge.
You hear the dripping again of the sink, which is annoying to you. And as you turn over to look at it and you're about to curse, suddenly you see that the dripping is upward. It's actually moving up and hitting the ceiling. And you can see the drops hitting the ceiling and just staying on the ceiling in a puddle. And this is once again something that you cannot compute. Let's see a sanity roll on that.
Mm, That's a fail.
So go ahead and roll a d6 now. So you lose 4. So
4.
so you're pretty horrified by what you're seeing right now because almost more than the other thing you saw because it really doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe the other thing was just maybe it was an animal and you didn't know what it was. Who the hell knows? But this this absolutely doesn't make sense. And you look back over at the man and he's staring back at you and he says, "I don't think you're all right. I think maybe you should sit down."
I don't know, man. Ever since you got here, there's a couple strange things that have been happening. You talk about all these signs you put in the house and stuff. Did you do something to my house? What
Do
what
something to
what
your
you know,
house.
what are you doing here in the beginning?
Sir,
What are you trying to do?
sir, I made your house. I am the source. I am square one. I am where the house came from in the first place. I didn't do anything to it. I designed it to be exactly what it is.
Look at the faucet over there and tell me what you see.
He looks over for a second and he definitely is looking over at it and seeing it as it's dripping upward. And he looks back at you and he says, "Exactly. Working exactly as it should. What's wrong?"
No, that's not how a house is supposed to work. I've lived in other houses and none of them have done that.
You wanted a different kind of house. You could have asked for a different kind of house, perhaps from a different kind of architect. But you moved into my house, and my house is as I designed it. That is exactly what should be happening in the house. Let me ask you a
You
question.
say that this is how you designed it. What did you design it for?
Well, I could answer that with another question for you. Do you know what tonight is?
Yeah, I know what tonight is.
No. By your tone, I don't believe that you do. You see, tonight is Samhain, a sacred night, a time when things are thin between worlds, between places that normally cannot connect. I constructed this house with very particular reasons. I wanted it to be a way to prove something, something which has always bothered me. You see, I do not believe in God. I never have. But I am, in my own way, a deeply religious man, and you can see that in my work. This house is a means of testing. Is there anything after death? Tonight we will find out.
So you built this house to what? To be, I don't know. I don't even know what's going on. That I bought this house because it was what I could afford. I didn't anticipate these kinds of things happening.
Huh. I understand completely, but you must understand that this is how it is going to happen. There is no way to avoid it. You are now inside the house on Samhain. We are drawing close, and I will open the door. And when this happens, you will witness, you will see. And as he says that, he pulls out from his jacket pocket.
Whoa, man, you need to calm down. I know that, it's and stuff, but you don't need to do anything. We can just sit here and talk and you can tell me more about the house.
Yes, yes. Let's just sit here and talk. After all, we have all the time in the world. And he looks over at the clock. There's a clock on the mantle. And, since he's doing that, you take a look over and see it too. And you watch as the clock just starts to move faster and faster and faster. And then it slows down and it backs up. And then it just stays at 1 minute. Like what, it says 2 a.m. suddenly, and it just freezes as that. And you were at like 7 p.m. earlier, and it's just frozen at that number. He looks over to you and he says, "All right, then. What do you want to talk about?"
Why would you make a house like this? You're saying that you built it for a purpose. What purpose is that? What door are you talking about? The bedroom door? Like I'm just lost right now.
Tonight, I am going to find out. I'm going to find out exactly what there is, what the source is. Do you understand?
No, I can't say that I do, man, and you're freaking me out with all this mumbo jumbo, magic speak.
I'm very sorry that I'm freaking you out, but you're going to have to sit down in that chair now, or I will be forced to shoot you.
Yeah, okay, okay, I'll sit down, man.
So you sit down in the chair that's in front of the coffee table in the depressed area of the living room, and then he stands in front of you and he says, "I am very sorry that this had to happen with you in the house. You see, I didn't expect anyone to be living here, but all the better because that means it's still here. Why don't you just relax?" And you start to, as he says that, you can see that the shadows in the room are growing longer, like slowly, and it's kind of weird. And then something happens which is weirder than any of the other things. You start to hear this sound. It's very low at first, and as it gets higher, you start to understand. You can hear what it is: piping, pipes, a flute of some kind, multiple flutes, and you hear them just like rising very, very slowly, but gradually. And you can't really tell exactly where it's coming from. He is the gate. He is the way. He is the key and the gate. And you can see he's like muttering to himself, the guy looking down at the gun for a second. Now, he's not looking at you. He's looking down and almost doing like a prayer type thing. Is there anything you want to do right
Yeah, can I try to grab my crutches and try to like sneak out?
now? Okay, yes, but because of your disability, you're it's not going to be like an easy thing to do. So if you want to grab your crutches and like just on its own, hard pass. If you then want to sneak out, second hard pass. If you want to do both in one roll, extreme roll.
I'll try the two-step method.
Okay, first one.
Am I rolling twice for stealth,
Oh,
or what am I rolling for the first roll?
I was gonna go with Dex, but stealth might make more sense. Either one that you want to go with, though, honestly, is fine.
I'll do dex for the first roll.
Okay, perfect.
87.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you that notorious chance. Do you want to push it?
Yeah, I'll try.
All right, let's see it. And what's your dex again?
No. My dex is my dex is 70. So actually my push roll did win.
Excellent.
I thought I
So
failed. I thought I had a 60.
this you're going really really slow as this guy's muttering to himself, and you almost, but you got the crutches. Now's the attempt to sneak out. Ooh.
Oof, 98.
So as you're trying to get to the door, suddenly you hear a gunshot go past you, and you see it hit the wall, and you spin around and see him. He goes, "Stop there." What do you do?
I just kind of freeze in place.
You can't leave.
I just kind of I'm like, man, and I don't want to be here. It sounds like you didn't want me or expect me to be here, so I'm just gonna leave and leave you to what you got to do. I'll come back tomorrow and everything will be okay. You'll be gone, right? And everything's gonna be okay.
As you're saying that, like as you're, kind of desperately saying this to him, the sound of the pipes is getting louder and louder, and it's so mixing together so many of them. It's like a cacophony. It's like a horrible sound. Go ahead if you want to, and try to roll. For what you just said. Are you trying to, persuade him? What are you doing here?
Yeah, persuade.
Okay.
Yeah, 79.
Yeah. So yeah, no, he's not persuaded by that. So he looks over at you and he says, "I'm sorry, but it is time now." And you look over at the clock and it says 3 a.m. And you're like, "How's that possible? It was 2 a.m. like 5 minutes ago." And suddenly the sound pipes gets really loud, and you look over, and the depressed area of the carpet, the square that's down, it starts to get really dark, really, really dark. And it gets so dark that it is pitch black. You can't see anything in it. And then the table starts to lower into it and it disappears. And it is just completely black. And as you're looking down, suddenly stars start to zoom past in the inky blackness of this square on the ground. And he starts to chant something really strange. And you don't know what the hell is going on. Is there anything you want to do right now?
How close is he to the like opening?
He's about 4 feet from it, and he's about 4.5 feet from you.
Well, he's chanting. Can I try to push him in?
Oh, absolutely, you can. Fighting brawl would be the obvious thing to roll. To argue with him, but unless you have a different thing you think would make sense.
I could roll fighting brawl or or size, whatever.
Yeah, well, whichever
Like
one you
fighting
want to
brawl.
go with. That's not absolutely or strength. So
Would size be okay?
yeah, absolutely. so
Okay, 18. So even if I rolled fighting brawl, I got it.
so this guy is chanting, and he as he's chanting, you can see something is getting closer and closer, and it just looks like a disgusting mess of light and weird movement. And you're just like, that's it, it's now or never. And you just jump at him, you jump into him, and you push him, and you toss him. You're able to hold back and not, and he falls into the inky blackness, and you hear this horrible scream as he just shatters in darkness, and he just and you see these disgusting weird, like serpent, like almost like, goopy weird tentacle things playing flutes, and like just praising before this gigantic mass of tentacles and eyes and all these things. And you're like, what the hell am I looking at right now? You're gonna have to roll sand.
Damn. I don't pass.
As you look down at
It's
this
too much for
horrible
me.
this, go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh Jesus. 18.
So you stare down into this blackness, the center, the source of all. You see square one. And as you peer on this horrible thing, your mind is just lost. You are lost. And you cannot rationalize anything that you're seeing. When your friend arrives, 7 p.m., because it's 7 p.m. again now, he finds you sitting in a chair and staring at your coffee table. And he doesn't understand why you won't answer him. But we know why, don't we? All right, that's it. I know that was really short, but thank you so much, Mac. I loved the way you handled everything, and you were really close to winning. But at the very least, you did beat that guy. So I really I admire that.
Yeah, there wasn't much hope for me. My guy wasn't he wasn't built for this.
It was a deliberately hopeless situation, which I
Oh
hope that
yeah.
wasn't annoying. But
No, that's what Call of Cthulhu is.
exactly, exactly. But so that was fun. Nice little Halloween thing. And we're gonna try to do many more of these soon and have them out, not just have this one. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you this time back for the next Call of Cthulhu. But let's just say, even though it's not the 31st yet, happy Halloween, everybody. Mac.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
sorry, there's a slight delay sometimes.
No, no, yeah, you're right. You're right. Did we have a sign off for this show? I don't remember.
I don't think so. Not that I can recall.
See you next Cthulhu time. Next Cthulhu channel. I, I don't know. All right, guys. Later.
See ya.